Hey, what's up, everybody? I hope your Sunday's going well and it's nice and relaxing. I mentioned last time I was gonna perhaps go to a third concert, rock concert today. Panzer Bastard's playing. I've seen them many times, and I need to recover emotionally, financially, and otherwise from the past two shows. A lot of fun. Highlights were Foreseen from Finland. Great. I mean, people call them crossover. I think they're more just straight up thrash metal, despite the fact that there's a couple bald guys in the band. Almost kind of Teutonic sounding with a little bit of maybe SOD and Carnivore in there. Really, really good stuff. I'm going to attempt to kind of spin records as I'm doing this. We'll see how that pans out. Just throwing on a few things from my box that I haven't gotten around to listening to in a while, or maybe just once. This is the Bat single. It's Ryan Waste and Felix Griffin from DRI. So far it's alright. I'm a sucker for anything that sounds like Venom, so fills that need for me. I don't really have that big stigma with Municipal Waste that a lot of people into metal do. I liked them when they came out. Kind of wore on me after a while, but like those first couple of records, some good riffs, you know. It was more fun, I think, when they were just playing with hardcore bands and they were like something for like the old dudes that grew up on speed metal, you know. But whatever. This is bad. I'm probably not going to get much else by this band. I think I have the tape too. So yeah, the second show was Battle Ruins. You heard me gush about Battle Ruins. The last one of these that I did, they did not disappoint. They sounded better than on their records. Brendan pulled off the two different vocal styles perfectly. Picked up this tape, 3 songs, pro tape, pretty nice. There was the merch line was insane. It was like 25 feet long. I wandered into the middle of it, not realizing it was a line, and got screamed at by a record nerd, rightfully so, being the dumbass that I am. Most of the other bands were kind of along the lines of Oi or old school kind of Boston style hardcore. The Templars were great. They're one of my favorite bands of all time. Definitely, you know, street rock Oi, but they are really skilled at what they do, and they have a good, like, I don't know, just kind of 60s rock and roll kind of edge to them. Really good, like, riffs and solos. There's a few songs like This Is Not the Last Song, I think it's off their first record, that almost sounds like the Yardbirds or something like that. So they mix it up well. They're really cool. Been around forever. From New York, a bazillion records. If you want to start collecting their stuff, good luck. Might as well collect everything by Agathocles. Just insane. Who else played? Boston Strangler was really, really, really good, as they usually are. Very similar to kind of SSD in sound, with a few more added, you know, flair, a little bit more added flair, especially on their second record. They get a little bit faster and a little bit more varied and are less of kind of a worship band. Yeah, and then, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, a few weeks ago, or last weekend, I saw Obituary and Creator. That was a great show. Of course, you know, Decibel Tour, Midnight, and Horrendous opened. My first time seeing Horrendous. Every other band I'd seen before. Horrendous, unfortunately, suffered from kind of opening band mix. They have a pretty textured sound, if that you probably know of if you listen to them. Everything sounded a little thin, unfortunately. But, I mean, they put on a hell of a show. They were really, you know, tight and all that kind of stuff. But unfortunately, the sound was a little disappointing. So this is the special release for the show, 17 out of 75. I have another one of these that Painkiller did with Waste Management and someone else that I'm forgetting. That was an Edge Day one, but yeah, the guy from Painkiller likes to do these with the OB strip, whatever. Comes off. Got both the 7 inches there. Yep, little swear, little profanity there. Psycho Ray demo and a bunch of random tracks. I'm actually not going to play this because I just listened to it. I also just listened to the Battle Ruins tape, but I want to listen to it again because it's just that good. Throw that on for you guys. So yeah, after all the partying and fun of the shows, it was time to pack it in and just kind of relax today. I was tempted to go into Cambridge where the show is and hit up Armageddon, but I know it would just be spending a ton of money that I shouldn't be spending. So I bought a few... Well, that's loud. So I bought a few records online instead of probably spending a bunch more money at a record store. So yeah, let me turn this a little bit here. This is my kind of my setup. As you can see here, those are my now playing boxes for 7 inches. Just to go through and show you guys kind of what I got here to... And this is stuff like recent purchases, but recent purchases over the past like 5 years. You know, just stuff that I just want to listen to more than once, and rather than just file it away. Some Abscess there, Autopsy Project, one of their earliest records, I think. I don't know if this is pre or post Urine Junkies, but sloppy punkish death metal. It's awesome. Their later stuff I didn't really care for because it just sounded like Autopsy, but not as good, and I'm glad they just reformed Autopsy. Adrenaline OD, super snotty, very, very fast, but not without a healthy dose of melody. Hardcore punk from Jersey. We got Afflicted, kind of odd, strange death metal from actually just Nuclear Blast, no Relapse on this. They were from somewhere in Europe. Okay, it was produced by Skogsberg, so more than likely Swedish, but I don't remember. Fuck. So we got the Repress the United Blood EP here. AF, put out on Bridge 9. I like the fact that they offered the old cover up to just kind of put over this kind of way too garish looking layout. So I have that in front. Never heard a band who's so not really skilled at their instruments write catchier songs. That's kind of the awesome thing about early hardcore punk, is that they were just working with what they had, and they had a lot. Altercation, more NYHC. This is a little bit more skilled. I think it was like in the late 80s, during an era when bands started to get pretty good, you know, at their instruments. But yeah, just a hint of metal, you know, little triple fast picking here and there, but anthemic New York hardcore stuff. Anti-Chemex, C-Mex, Cymex, nobody seems to know. Early Swedish raw D-beat stuff. I mean, this is the only record I own by them. I need more. But you can't go wrong with Game of the Arseholes. I mean, it's heavier than a lot of stuff you listen to, I'll tell you what. After that, I got a couple of anti-scene records in there. Dear Abby, Exploding Barbed Wire Deathmatch. Obviously, if you know anything about wrestling, this is songs about Sabu, Cactus Jack, Mick Foley. I had Mick Foley sign an anti-scene tape when I did a meet and greet. He knew who they were, and he wasn't really stoked. But yeah, like gnarly gravel vocal punk, you know, not really hardcore, more just fast punk rock, mean sounding stuff, real rockin'. Apparition. This is pre-Sorrow, if you're familiar with Sorrow. Just 2-song single here. Death doom stuff, kind of political. I really like the Sorrow full length too, but you never hear about them. They had a song on the At Death's Door 2 comp and did an EP and a full length and faded into obscurity. I thought they were a good band. Arms Race. A lot of good hardcore stuff coming out of England these days. It's borrowing a lot from American hardcore, but also taking an influence from the native soil. You know, a lot of UK 82 vibe to it, and Oi mixed in. This is a great little single, great little EP. Mongrel Crew being the standout track, a little bit more mid-paced stomper of a song. Real monstrous, angry vocals. Sounds like somebody's yelling at you. Asocial, How Could Hardcore Be Any Worse? 82 demo. This is Swedish fast hardcore. It's bordering on grind just in terms of how pissed it is. It's not really pre-grind being a thing, but as far as like pushing the boundaries of extremity for its time, I mean, in 1982, It's a really, really good one. I guess this was a bonus with a 625 thrashcore comp. I tried to log it into Discogs, and everybody's like, this is not like a real release kind of thing. I didn't know. Bought it like that. Assassin. This is one of those Snake Pit Mag bonus 7 inches. You know, I gotta spin this again because I don't remember what it sounds like. I know it's speed metal-ish, but I couldn't tell you anything beyond that. Put myself in a little bit more here. Slightly less awkward. Avulsion, Green Scare. This is Buffalo, New York. Grind, power violence kind of stuff from the mid to late 90s. Very similar to kind of stuff like Spaz, but they had a little bit more of a brutal death metal vocal. I don't know if they had 2 vocalists or what, but they went between like raspy hardcore shouts and like growls. And they were sort of technical and weird too. A lot of pot references. And they were awesome. I wish I could have seen them. I lived in the area at the time. I already talked about BGK a few back. Like I said, band from Holland, fast hardcore, kind of more American sounding than European. Just leave it at that. Good old Baphomet, going back to Buffalo with that one. God, I love the Buffalo scene. I wish I lived near there. I lived a couple hours away, and I just was never aware of stuff like the Day of Death Festival going on. There's a few more treats from Buffalo. We'll get to it probably in the next 7-inch thing that I do. But like I said about the other album that I had on my top 20 albums that got me into death metal, it's chunky, it's brutal. It's not without its speedy parts, but it's definitely got a really good, oppressive, like heavy atmosphere. This, Belial, Gods of the Pit Part 2, awesome Finnish death metal. That is the original sleeve that I paid $1 for this a very long time ago at Below Zero Records in Alston. That was a shop that was around for, I want to say 8 months. I think my friend TJ said last night it was around for 8 months. But I got a few great things there, including that Wolfpack LP I was talking about before and an earlier update. Yeah, just great, incredibly dark, Finnish stuff. I've heard other records by them. This is the only one that really blew me out of the water, but which I realize is complete blasphemy if some of you are huge Finnish death metal fans. But what can I say? That one is the only one that really got me here. Besieged. Why don't we throw this on? Because the tape's over. This is good thrash from what I remember. Newer band. I believe, yeah, Dark Descent / Unspeakable Acts and War on Music all collaborated releasing this. And I have their full-length CD. That's really good too. I remember it being kind of Beneath the Remain Sepultura-ish, but let's see. The problem with my record player, the U-turn Orbit, almost did it good this time, is that it's super manual. There's no flicking a switch to switch the speed, so you have to use this rubber band thing. And getting it right is often a pain in the ass. Kind of developed a skill for it after a while. Let's pop that on. There you go. Next up, Beyond Possession, Telltale Heart. These guys went crossover later, and I actually don't like their full length that's crossover that much at all. It's kind of weak sauce. But this is great, blazing, fast, like skate punk. There's a song called Skater's Life. They're Canadian. I remember some pretty good leads and stuff being on this. I haven't listened to it in forever, but it's definitely a classic hardcore record from Canada. BKB. Blood Crow Butcher. They were around only for a couple years. They were a D-beat band from Boston. Super catchy, you know, not always going really fast, you know. They had that kind of boy tempo almost sort of stuff. I miss them very much. They turned into another band, which I'm putting myself on the spot and I can't remember, but I really like them too. It'll come to me at some point. But yeah, I'm picky with DB. You know, there's some stuff that just doesn't do anything for me, and this is not one of those bands. It's really, really good. Then we got Bombs of Death. I'm sorry, Bombs of Hades. I think I had Chris Callahan on the brain when I said Bombs of Death. This is slightly punkish, I think, like kind of Swedish-sounding death metal. Yeah, they're from Sweden. You know, kind of amp up the little bit of a D-beat influence that bands like Entombed had. Takes it a little step further to make it slightly more punk, but just ever so slightly, I think. I was really into Detest Records for a long time. I mean, I don't know what happened to that label or that guy, Jerry. I know it's folded, it's done, but it's too bad because they put out a lot of stuff. I have most of the tapes and 7 inches that they did. A lot of good dark Swedish and Finnish style stuff. Bone Sickness got a couple of 7 inches here. There's the demo on 7 inch, and there's on Detest 2-song single. I also have a 12-inch kicking around. They were great. Don't think they're around anymore. Very like Autopsy and Repulsion, American stuff. Pretty young guys from what I remember, but yeah, they were sick. They were bone sick. Born Against. I mean, this early Born Against stuff. This is, I think, Vermiform 1. Yep. Half-Mast. I mean, not even agreeing completely with a lot of their political stuff. I can't help but respect the vitriol with which they put this, put into the music, you know. Definitely intelligent, pissed off, punk stuff. Super original musically. There's parts that feel a little unhinged, like, you know, it could fall off the rails at any moment, but it's in a really good way. They got a little bit more slower later in their career, but this is definitely just total Spitfire record. First Progeria. Not even remotely interested in what this band is doing now. I believe this was even before the record on Roadrunner. There was a lot of mystery around this band when I was a kid. You know, they definitely tried to make it seem like they were actual cartel guys or something. But it's great. It's just super brutal, scary death metal with lyrics in Spanish. You know, I forget, I don't even have any idea who the lineup was for this, like if it was Shane Embury or who was behind it, but I guess that's part of the appeal. I'm sure if I did a quick Google search, I could find out, but I don't really care. Little single of Mirror Mirror on side A and Bells of Acheron on side B. This Candlemass single here. Really thick vinyl to the point where it's like, I can't get it back in the sleeve. Not sure if that's necessary. Cap-Kaz, Art of Ballistics, Capitalist Casualties. Yeah. Fast. Really, really fast. Like DRI first record fast. You know, pretty normal, you know, not gruff or growled vocals, just hoarse, angry shouting. Great. The Carcass St. George's Hall live bootleg. I'm not sure if it's a bootleg. I think when I read about it, and I think they actually gave the dude permission, but it was kind of a shady thing. They've sold tons of copies of this throughout the years, whoever made it. Yeah, it sounds great. Sounds great. I don't know. If you like Carcass, that's worth getting. Chaos UK, Studio Outtakes, 81 to 83. My friend put this out. My buddy Eric. Yeah, I'm super, you know, picky about stuff like Chaos UK and Disorder. I've heard a lot of stuff that just sounds like garbage to my ears. I actually like Chaos UK's stuff when they were a little bit more of just a straight up punk band and less like a noisy mess. That being said, this stuff sounds really good. The name of the zine that it came with, it was Negative Insight. I think it's still floating around there. I don't know if these... I think you can order these. Check Armageddon's website if you're curious. Citizen's Arrest. This, along with Born Against, is some of the best hardcore to come out in the early 90s. Featuring on vocals Daryl Kahan, who I heard he's not in Disma anymore. I don't know if people can confirm or deny that. He was in Disma. Funebrarum, a whole bunch of other stuff. Abizagarath, I believe. Bunch of hardcore bands too. But it's just fast hardcore with like the vocals are super shredded, forced, angry. Not growls, but Daryl would go on to do growls with this band in the future. But lots of twists and turns in the music. You know, a lot of catching you unexpected types of riffs and everything. It's really great. Conmen, just threw this on before I started recording this. I think I'm gonna stop in a minute. My throat's getting dry. It's my friend Dan's band. I think the rest of the guys, they're from Western Mass. Dan plays in Boston Strangler, a couple other groups. I can't keep track because these bands like Boston Strangler and Battle Ruins and Mind Eraser, they all share so many members. I can't keep it straight. But I know that Dan plays bass in Boston Strangler. But it sounds like the Ramones a lot. Not a direct ripoff or anything, but definitely inspired by a lot of that late '70s punkish power pop garage kind of stuff. It's really, really good. The first track, "Dick Don't Work," is definitely a banger. We've got "Crisis of Faith," "American Dream," "A Global Nightmare." This band's Canadian. Super political. Good though, like real tight, angry crust. Awesome, like pissed off vocals. I know one of these songs has, I think it's the song "Incest." It's one of those, they do one of those anarcho-punk kind of things where they tell a bunch of statistics over music in the song, and it's all about rape and incest, and it's a huge downer. Very impactful. Cryptopsy, "Ungentle Exhumation." This is the debut demo on 7-inch. You should know Cryptopsy. It's technical, brutal death metal from Canada. Great stuff. But yeah, this demo sounds great. I remember when it came out. I think me and my friend got it for a zine we were reviewing at the time, and we were completely blown away. All right, we'll do one or two more. This is Dawn, not to be confused with the black metal Dawn, who I think are from Sweden. This is a German brutal death metal band. It's nothing special, but it's fun. They do Tales of the Macabre by Slaughter. Great song. Dead Moon. This was given to me as a gift. My friend Peter gave this to me. It's signed by the members, which is cool. It's garagey, almost kind of sounds like a rougher, faster, punker version of like Neil Young's best stuff, with trading off male and female vocals. I'm not always in the mood for that band nowadays, but it's pretty cool. Pretty good stuff. Yeah, well, the record's over, so I'm gonna hang it up right now. As usual, let me know what you guys think. I hope everybody has a good weekend, the rest of their weekend. I'll probably paw through this a little bit more. Looks like my work week's about to start. And I know sooner or later my motivation to do this every couple of days is probably going to wear down. But it's been fun so far, so you guys have a good one. I'll talk to you later.